Okay, so I just want to start this off by making sure it's okay that I record. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Um, so just want to give a little introduction of you. The person I chose for my podcast episode is my hometown friend Nathan. Nathan and I are both from Whitewright, which is a very small town that is known for its poor mental health. I chose Nathan today because I wanted to explore how his views and methods of well-being have changed since we both left home. He attends Hendrix College, where he plays football and is a business major, hoping to establish a career in investment banking. Did I forget anything? Does that sound like you?
That might be me.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're just gonna hop straight into it. So basically, this is just gonna be about you and how you view your own well-being and how positivity plays a role in your life. So my first question for you is, how does social support affect your well-being?
So I think that to some extent, every person has that need in their life to socialize, no matter who you are. And I think um, a lot of what's helped me, especially in times when I'm away from my family and from my girlfriend at college and everything, is just kind of being around my best friends because when we're together, we have a lot of laughs, we have a lot of jokes, and even when fall camp comes around and everything, we're still having a good time because we're all funny and we're all having fun all the time. So it's good.
Okay, cool. Um, so my next question for you is, in our class, we talked about this model of well-being. It's an acronym. It's called PERMA, but each letter of the acronym, the P stands for positive emotions, the E engagement, the R relationships, M is meaning, and A is accomplishment. So which of those sticks out to you the most or is the most important to you in your life?
Can you say the first ones again? Sorry.
No, you're good. Positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment.
Okay. Um, I think for me, being the type of person that I am, I feel like accomplishment probably sticks out the most, and that's what matters the most to me. I don't think you're defined by your accomplishments, but I think that it's important to be remembered as someone who did positive things and made a good impact and is leaving good things for the world. And I think that accomplishment is a good word to summarize kind of how I feel about that. um, I think it's important to be someone who's well rounded and someone who has done things and has made good progress and good accomplishments.
Do you think that's something that has like changed over time, like since you moved away from our hometown?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that as with any person, you progress throughout life and your mentality changes, the way you think and everything. And I really didn't start thinking with such a accomplishment wanting mindset, an ambitious mindset until maybe I moved to college and got to an understanding that you actually have to go get things and not everything's just going to be there for you.
Do you think that like the environment that we grew up in like prohibited you from being like someone who is always striving for accomplishment?
I don't necessarily think it prohibited me, but moving and seeing new things and new faces that helped me. But the thing with being back home is I think there's only so much that you can conquer. There's only so much that you can do before it's kind of you've kind of done it all. Not saying that I've done it all, but it's a lot less gratifying too, I think,
Mhm.
because you're so young.
Yeah, and I feel like the opportunities for accomplishment were really limited.
Yeah, of course we went to a small school, a 3A or whatever, and there wasn't a whole lot of room for a lot of things maybe outside of sports. Sports were kind of, if you're good at sports, you get your accomplishments, you get what you want. So outside of that, it's slim. It's slim.
Yeah. Where do you think that you fall on the introversion to extroversion scale, and how does that play a role in how you try and achieve fulfillment?
I think that for right now, I'm definitely pretty extroverted. I don't have any problem with talking to people, meeting new people. Um, I have very little, um, like embarrassment in public. I can do a lot without being embarrassed. But I don't that's something that also came with kind of getting older because like a few years ago, if you would have told me to do all these things that I'm doing now, I'd been like, oh no, super, super introverted compared to what I am now. So, and I think that's important. I think that's a great trait to have is to be extroverted because if you want to be a go-getter, you gotta initiate, sometimes with your mouth, speaking and everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like also growing up in a small town, you didn't really have to be extroverted. You didn't have to try to meet anyone because you already knew everybody. And I feel like that was something that was hard for me too, like moving to college, because I was always someone who talked a lot, but it was only with people I was really comfortable with. And that was a big change for me too.
Yeah, and another issue with, kind of being from a small town is anytime you do anything, everyone's going to hear about it.
Hmm.
So like word gets around fast and you're kind of living at this sort of, you got to kind of be in your shell so that you don't step out and whoever doesn't like it and then it gets twisted into other things and rumors spread, all that stuff. So
Yeah.
there's definitely some sort of you can only do so much without, you know.
Yeah. Do you think that your shift on that scale has increased how fulfilled that you feel in your life?
Yeah, I think so. I think you become more happy with being more of an extrovert. I think because when you're introverted, you spend a lot more time kind of thinking to yourself and basking within your own thoughts. But when you become an extrovert, you talk to people about your thoughts and you kind of have another resource to exert yourself in a healthy way.
Yeah. What are some positive thinking strategies you implement in your daily life?
Um, I believe that my greatest asset is my brain and the way I think. So I have to wake up and I have to know that I have to do the things throughout the day. I have to get them done. I can't just mosey through them either. I have to actually do them. I have to put forth effort. Um, I think for a successful person, it's all about mentality. I think that you have to think positively. You have to be hungry. You've got to want more. And when you get more, you got to want more than that. So it's very important to be ambitious and think positively, which is one of those things that makes a successful person, in my opinion.
Awesome. Um, do you find yourself, or do you often find yourself suppressing feelings? How do you cope with negative emotions?
Oh, um, yeah, I might be guilty of suppressing feelings time to time, you could say. I think that might just be a characteristic of all men. You kind of just, I mean, I can't really speak because I do suppress my feeling. What was the second question with it?
How do you cope with negative emotions?
Um, I think to some extent, you have to regulate your emotions. So you have to, if you get negative thoughts, you kind of have to push them away. You kind of have to think different. You have to rewire the neurons in your brain, the electrons in your brain to think in a different way. Um, I think that suppressing them, in my opinion, sometimes it's okay because if you let that part of you go too much, then negative things start happening, and it's just a domino effect of negative things. So
Or maybe just like regulating them until you're in a place where it's appropriate to let those emotions out or to discuss something that's been bothering you. I feel like that's a a very like cultural thing of where we were raised in a very typical like small town conservative, not just politically, but like, morally conservative. I feel like that's, common in that area. It's like your typical like good old boy doesn't cry. He's tough.
Yeah, I guess you could say. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself too far right or left, but that was the way that I was raised, and I think that maybe it's not the best, but that's just me. That's just who I am. And I wasn't gonna get on here and lie. I was gonna be honest. So I hope that doesn't affect your grade, but
No, it's okay. Okay. Um, in what ways do you combat loneliness? Is that something you have to actively fight?
yeah. So moving to college was a wreck. Um, it's not really as bad anymore. It still gets to me sometimes being away from my family and everything. Um, but I've gotten to the point now where I became kind of used to it. So I just watch YouTube and go to bed or watch Instagram and go to bed. And you kind of just don't think about it after a while. So, and it sucks. It does.
Yeah.
Especially when you go on long spurts of not seeing your family or, of course, my girlfriend or anything. So, but I don't know. I guess coping with it is just living through it anyway, just doing it anyway. It's
hmm
kind of how you got to be sometimes. Just get up and do it anyway, no matter how you feel.
I feel like for me, it was when I was in our hometown or in high school and, I was around the same people every single day. Sometimes I wish I could feel lonely. Like I wish I had a moment alone because everybody was in everybody's business and together all the time. You couldn't escape anyone. But I feel like it's always like the grass is greener. Like then you go to college and you're like, dang, I wish I had that back.
Yeah, I don't necessarily wish everyone was in my business, but I think it was nice getting to go. I mean, go home every day,
hmm
see your mom and everything, go to the weekend and see your girlfriend, and I think to some extent you kind of when you're a kid you take advantage of it, and when you move to college you're like, I wish I could go back and do that just for a day. So yeah.
Okay, I have one more question. How has your sense of fulfillment changed since coming to college?
Oh, um, I think that I find fulfillment in becoming a little bit better every day. It's like it's one of my mottos is you got to wake up and be 1% better than the day you were before. Right. So, and college is a great resource and a great opportunity to practice that. So, just kind of back to what I was saying, just kind of waking up and you just go and do it, and you feel good at the end of the day. I mean, lifting weights, it releases endorphins and it feels good. The same thing with football. I mean, it may suck while you're at practice, but once you're done, you go in the locker room, take a warm shower, you just kind of sit there for a second. You're like, man, this is nice. It feels good, you know?
Mhm. How do you think like what was your sense of fulfillment in like high school?
Um,
Just comparatively to now.
I feel like in high school, I got more fulfillment from kind of being like, like good at football or like doing good, but not kind of like in the depth that it is now.
hmm
I didn't really understand like that process. So I guess most of my fulfillment in high school just came from like doing good in football and making my parents proud and everything, and just kind of finding that norm. Because I mean, once you grow up and you move away, it's all shifted. you find new normals, and it's all different.
Do you think your sense of fulfillment comes more from yourself now than like pleasing other people? Like you said, making your parents proud, like your fulfillment comes more from making yourself proud now.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say that. It it took me a while to think like that, but over time, I just feel like your brain develops and you start to make more sense of what's around you, especially when you don't even have like your parents there to even say anything.
Hmm.
It's clearly when you move to college, as you know, it's all on you now. There's nobody getting you up in the morning, nothing like that. It's all on you. So I definitely, as my brain has developed, I've found more fulfillment doing it on my own, and I think that that's the way for me.
Well, thank you so much for being on my podcast. It was fun talking to you, catching up. Uh, but yeah, I hope you had fun, maybe learned something about yourself.
All right, thank you.
Of course. Bye.
See ya.